Clara Bell tore the photograph in half before the train whistle finished crying. She stood on the depot platform in Mercy Junction, Kansas, with dust blowing against her cheeks and two trunks at her feet, one full of clothes that no longer fit right, and one full of iron tools no respectable young lady was supposed to own. The photograph had shown her standing beside her cousin's wedding party back in street. Louis, round-faced, broad-hipped, squeezed into pale blue silk, while three girls behind her laughed with their gloved hands raised to their mouths. Her aunt had sent it with a note folded neatly inside. "Perhaps the West will give you room enough." Clara had read that line once. Then she had torn the photograph down the middle, pressed the pieces into the stovepipe ash barrel beside the depot wall, and watched her old life turn black around the edges. She was 23 years old, with $9.40 sewn into the hem of her traveling skirt, a leather apron wrapped in brown paper, and a letter of employment addressed to Mr. Nathaniel Reed, Bar R Ranch, Willow Creek, Wyoming Territory. The advertisement had asked for a wagon yard assistant who could mend tack, repair wheels, and handle tools without complaint. It had not asked if the applicant was pretty. It had not asked if she could dance. It had not asked how much space she took up at a supper table. So Clara had answered it. Mercy Junction was the last place the train cared to stop before the prairie opened wide and stopped pretending to be civilized. The town was a narrow strip of wood and dust, with a feed store, a church, a telegraph office, a hotel with peeling green paint, and a saloon that had lost one shutter and apparently not found it worth replacing. Beyond the buildings, the land rolled outward in a dry gold sweep toward distant blue hills. The men on the depot bench looked at Clara first, then at her trunks, then at the long canvas-wrapped bundle she carried under one arm. Their eyes did not surprise her. She had grown up inside such looks. They measured her size before they measured her face. They saw soft cheeks, heavy arms, a waist that no corset could turn delicate, and decided the rest of the story before she opened her mouth. A boy of 14 came around the corner, leading a dusty bay horse hitched to a wagon with a cracked sideboard. "You Miss Bell?" he called. "I am. Mr. Reed sent me. I'm Toby. He said if you brought more than one trunk, I was to complain, but loaded anyway." Clara almost smiled. "That sounds fair." Toby stared at the canvas bundle. "That a rifle?" "No." "What is it?" "A hammer." His eyebrows climbed. "That's a mighty long hammer. It has family history." He did not know what to say to that, so he lifted the smaller trunk and nearly dropped it. Clara reached down, took the handle from him, and set it into the wagon herself. Toby's face reddened. "I could have got it. I'm sure." "You strong?" "When I need to be." He considered her with more interest now, less cruelty than curiosity, and climbed onto the wagon seat. Clara settled beside him, her knees brushing the cracked board, her skirt gathering dust before the wheels even moved. The Bar R lay 8 miles north of town, past cottonwoods and dry creek beds and fences that leaned like tired men. The ranch house appeared first, square and weathered, with a porch running along the front and a windmill turning slowly behind it. Then came the barn, the bunkhouse, the smokehouse, the corral, and the long wagon shed, with its roof half caved on one side. That roof was what Clara looked at first. Not the horses, not the men, watching from the rail. Not the tall rancher standing beside a wagon with one wheel removed, his shirt sleeves rolled to the elbow and his face shadowed by a dark hat. She looked at the sag in the wagon shed roof, the angle of the cracked beam, the way rain would run wrong if it ever came hard enough, and she thought, that will fall before winter. The tall man followed her gaze before he spoke. "You must be Clara Bell." "Yes, Mr. Reed." "Nathaniel Reed." He stepped forward and took off his hat. He was not young, not old. 36, perhaps. Sun had browned him, wind had cut lines beside his mouth, and work had settled into his shoulders so deeply that he looked incomplete, standing still. There was a steadiness in him that would have comforted some people and warned others. His eyes moved to her bundle. "You brought tools." "I said I could repair wagons." A lot of folks say things in letters. A lot of folks lie worse in person. The corner of his mouth shifted, not quite a smile. "Fair enough." A man near the corral laughed under his breath. Clara did not look at him. Nathaniel did. "Silas," he said, "you got work?" The laughing man straightened. "Yes, boss." "Then go introduce yourself to it." Silas muttered something and walked away. Nathaniel turned back to Clara. I expected a man. I expected that you did. You didn't mention you weren't one. The advertisement didn't mention you required one. For a long moment, the only sound was the windmill ticking behind the house. Toby watched with open delight, as if he had been handed a play for free. Nathaniel looked at the wagon beside him. Rear wheel cracked on the freight wagon. Can't haul winter salt until it's fixed. You know wheels? My father built them. That's not what I asked. Clara set down her bundle, untied the canvas, and revealed a long-handled rounding hammer, an iron tire wrench, a spoke shave, 2 files, a hand drill, and a small leather roll of measuring tools blackened by years of use. She lifted the cracked wheel, ignoring Toby's small gasp, and set it against the workbench. She ran her fingers over the hub, then the spokes, then the felloe. Her hands changed when they touched wood and iron. They became calmer than the rest of her. The crack isn't the trouble, she said. It's where it cracked. Whoever reset this tire last time cooled it too fast. Pulled the wheel out of true. See here? The dish is wrong. If you patch the wood and leave the dish, it'll break again under weight. Nathaniel came closer. Can you fix it? Yes. How long? If nobody stands over me asking how long, half a day. Toby covered his mouth. Nathaniel looked at the wheel, then at her hands, then at her face. Something in his expression changed by the smallest degree. Not warmth, not trust, recognition perhaps. A craftsman seeing the outline of another craftsman before pride could get in the way. All right, he said. Start with the wheel. I already have. By sunset, Clara Bell had the wheel stripped, the bad spoke replaced from seasoned ash, the cracked section cut clean and joined, and the iron tire heating in the forge Nathaniel had expected her to fear. She worked in her rolled sleeves with her hair pinned tight and her cheeks flushed from heat. Sweat darkened her collar. Soot smudged her chin. 3 cowhands passed the wagon shed twice more than necessary, each one quieter than the last. When the tire was ready, she and Nathaniel lifted it together with tongs, set it over the wheel, and hammered it down in quick, ringing strokes. Clara moved fast, but not hurried. Every strike landed where it meant to land. They carried the wheel to the water trough, and steam rose around them in a white cloud. Nathaniel watched the iron shrink tight. Well? She asked. He turned the wheel once, twice. It'll hold. That wasn't the question. He looked at her then, and this time the almost smile arrived. It's good work. Clara nodded, as if praise did not matter. But it did. It went into her quietly, the way rain goes into dry ground before anything shows green. Inside the ranch house, Mrs. Ada Pike served supper at a long table where 12 men ate as though food might be outlawed by morning. Ada was the housekeeper, cook, and general keeper of peace at the Bar R. She had silver hair, narrow eyes, and the manner of a woman who had survived too many fools to be impressed by new ones. She set a plate before Clara, without asking whether Clara belonged. Eat, Ada said. You worked. That was all. The men were less generous. Not openly. Nathaniel's presence kept most of them polite, but Clara heard the small silences, the sideways looks, the scrape of chairs when she sat down. Silas, the man from the corral, leaned toward the hand beside him and whispered just loud enough. Reed ordered a wheelwright and got a whole wagon. The table went still. Clara cut a piece of beef, chewed, swallowed, and looked at him. Then it's lucky I know how to carry weight. Toby choked on his beans. Ada's mouth twitched. Nathaniel did not look up from his coffee, but his fingers stopped moving around the cup. Silas flushed. I was only joking. So was I, Clara said. Mine was better. After supper, Ada showed Clara to a small room at the back of the house with a narrow bed, a washstand, and a window looking toward the wagon shed. It was more privacy than Clara had expected, and more kindness than she trusted immediately. You got people? Ada asked. Not here. That wasn't what I asked. Clara unpinned her hat and set it on the bed. My father died 3 years ago, my mother before that. I had an aunt in St. Louis who believed I was a trial sent to refine her character. Ada snorted. Did it work? No. Good. Ada opened the door to leave, then paused. Willow Creek will talk. Towns full of women with clean gloves and dirty imaginations. Men are worse, only less organized. I've been talked about before. I don't doubt it. But this place has a way of making talk expensive. Clara looked out the window at the dark shape of the wagon shed. Then I'll have to be worth the cost. The next morning, she rose before dawn and reached the shed before any man on the ranch. She examined harness, axles, brake pins, wagon tongues, rusted hinge straps, cracked yokes, and the forge bellows that needed patching. By the time Nathaniel entered with 2 cups of coffee, she had made a list on a scrap of feed sack. He stopped when he saw it. "You inventory my whole yard?" "Not the whole yard, just the parts that are trying to kill someone." He handed her 1 cup. "That many?" "4 immediately, 9 by spring." He read the list. "This brace under the salt wagon? Split lengthwise. It'll fail on a downhill pull. The north wagon tongue? Bad repair. Whoever wrapped it with wire should be ashamed." "That was me." Clara paused, then took a drink of coffee. "Then you've had time to become ashamed." The laugh came out of him before he could stop it. It was low and rusty, as if unused. Clara looked down into her cup so he would not see that she had noticed. For 3 days, the ranch settled into a new rhythm. Clara repaired what others had learned to work around. She replaced a wagon pin that would have snapped under load. She reset 2 loose tires. She patched the bellows and made the forge breathe again. She fixed the kitchen pump handle because she could not stand hearing Ada curse at it. By the 4th day, men stopped calling her Miss Bell with amusement and started calling it when they needed something. But Willow Creek noticed before the ranch fully accepted her. The first visitor came in a black buggy with polished wheels and a silver-handled whip. His name was Calvin Truitt, and he owned the feed store, the freight contract, and half the debt in the valley. He wore a gray suit too fine for ranch dust and a smile that carried no warmth at all. Nathaniel met him near the corral. "Reed," Truitt said, "heard you hired unusual help." "I hired capable help." Truitt's eyes moved to Clara, who was filing a burr from a coupling hook at the workbench. Capable is a generous word these days. Clara kept filing. Nathaniel's voice stayed mild. "You come to discuss something?" "Freight schedule, salt order, the bank note due in September." Truitt looked again at Clara. "A ranch with public contracts ought to consider public reputation." Nathaniel's face did not change, but the air around him did. Clara felt it from 15 feet away. "My yard is not public," he said. "Your debt is." The file moved once more, then stopped. Truitt smiled. "No offense meant to the young lady. Some women are built for unusual labor, I suppose." Clara turned then. "Mr. Truitt, if you mean I'm large, I already own a mirror." Toby, cleaning tack nearby, stared at the ground with heroic effort. Truitt's smile thinned. Bold tongue. "Only when plain speech is cheaper." Nathaniel stepped forward. "You made your point, Calvin. I'll send the salt wagon Tuesday." "With that wheel?" "With her wheel." Truitt glanced at the repaired freight wagon. "We'll see what holds." After he left, Clara went back to filing, but her hands were not as steady as before. That angered her more than Truitt had. She could endure insult. What she hated was how the body remembered every old wound when a new one touched close enough. Nathaniel came to the workbench. He enjoys finding soft places to press. "I'm not soft." "I didn't say you were." "He thinks you'll regret hiring me." "I regret plenty of things," Nathaniel said. "Hiring you hasn't made the list." She looked at him then, searching for pity and finding none. Only fact. Somehow fact was better. The trouble turned sharper the next week. A crate of horseshoes Clara had ordered from Cheyenne failed to arrive. Then a barrel of linseed oil was misplaced at Truitt's store. Then 2 ranchers canceled repairs they had asked her to do. Both men red-faced and vague when she met them in town. By Saturday, Ada heard from the church steps that Mrs. Truitt had called Clara an improper spectacle and wondered aloud what sort of man let such a woman swing hammers in front of boys. That evening, Clara sat on the back step with her leather apron across her knees. She cleaned soot from the seams with a rag, though it was already clean. Nathaniel came out but did not sit. He leaned against the porch post, looking toward the dark yard. "They're squeezing supplies," he said. "Yes." "To make you leave." "Yes." "To make me send you away." She looked up. "Will you?" "No." "You answer fast. Some questions don't improve with delay." She lowered her gaze to the apron. "I can take a mail coach east if it becomes too much trouble." "For whom?" "For the ranch." "For me?" She did not answer. Nathaniel looked toward the shed, where the forge sat cold in the moonlight. My wife used to say, this valley liked women best when they were useful and invisible. Clara's hand stilled. Your wife? Eleanor. She died 5 winters ago. I'm sorry. So am I. The words came without decoration, and for that reason they felt true. She kept the books, Nathaniel said. Ran half this place from a desk no one respected until after she was gone, and the numbers started slipping. Truett hated dealing with her because she could see through fine print faster than he could write it. Clara watched his face in the faint porch light. Did the town like her? They liked eating at our table. They liked borrowing money she told me not to lend. They liked her pies at church socials. They did not like being corrected by her. That sounds familiar. It should. Small towns only own a few songs. They change the names and sing them again. For a while, neither spoke. Then Clara said, My aunt told me I was made wrong for the world. Nathaniel turned. She said a woman my size should be grateful for any corner offered and careful not to ask for more. She said no man would want a wife who looked as though she could outwork him. Clara smiled faintly, without humor. She was very proud of that line. Nathaniel's jaw tightened. Clara looked back at the apron. I believed her some days. That's the shame of it. Not always, but some days. Nathaniel stepped down from the porch and stood before her. Clara Bell, if this world was built too narrow for you, that is a failure of carpenters, not of you. She looked up quickly. He seemed almost surprised by what he had said, but he did not take it back. The next day, the freight wagon carried the winter salt order from Truett's store to the Bar R. Truett himself stood outside the feed store to watch, along with half of Willow Creek. Clara rode beside Toby on the wagon seat, while Nathaniel followed on horseback. The repaired wheel turned clean through the rutted street. It did not wobble. It did not groan. It took the weight as if it had never been broken. At the far end of town, one of the watching men called, Looks like the lady knows her iron. Another answered, Better than Silas knows his mouth. Laughter followed, not cruel this time. Truett heard it, so did Clara. She kept her eyes on the road, but something inside her loosened one notch. That should have been the turn. In a kinder story, it would have been. But Calvin Truett had not built his life on losing gracefully. 3 nights later, a rider came hard to the ranch with a telegram folded in his glove. Nathaniel read it under the kitchen lamp, while Ada, Clara, and Toby watched his face. What is it? Ada asked. Nathaniel handed the paper to Clara. The Territorial Freight Board had received a complaint questioning the Bar R's fitness for contract renewal. It cited unstable equipment, irregular staffing, and improper employment practices. A board inspector would arrive in 10 days. Improper, Ada said, like the word tasted rotten. Clara read the telegram twice. Her throat tightened. This is because of me. Nathaniel took the paper back and set it flat on the table. This is because Truett wants the freight contract. And I gave him the opening. No, he found the knife he wanted and wrapped your name around the handle. She stood too quickly. The chair scraped hard behind her. You could lose the contract. Yes. You could lose the ranch. His eyes stayed on hers. Yes. If I leave before the inspector comes, maybe. No. The word cracked through the room. Toby froze. Ada folded her arms. Nathaniel lowered his voice. No. Clara's face burned. Do not make me the reason you lose everything. You don't get to claim all the power in the room just because you're frightened. She stared at him. He continued, quieter. This ranch was in trouble before you stepped off that wagon. The contract was already at risk. Truett was already circling. Half my equipment was held together by prayer and old wire. You didn't bring the trouble, Clara. You made it visible. The truth of that entered slowly, painfully. Ada looked at Clara. Question is, what are we doing with 10 days? Clara looked toward the dark window where the wagon shed waited. Her fear did not leave. It changed shape. We get every wagon ready, she said. Every harness, every brake, every axle, every wheel, and we fix that shed roof before it comes down on the inspector's head. Nathaniel nodded once. Then we start at dawn. We start now, Clara said. They worked by lantern until past midnight. The next 10 days became a storm without rain. Clara moved through the yard like a general no one had expected to follow. She chalked repairs on wagon boards. She assigned Toby to sorting bolts and nails. She taught Silas how to heat a tire without ruining the dish, then made him do it twice again when he rushed. She sent 2 hands to cut straight pine for the roof brace and rejected the first pieces they brought back because straight enough was not a building principle. Nathaniel did not stand over her. He worked beside her. When a man questioned her order, Nathaniel said, "Ask Miss Bell why. Then listen." When Silas grumbled that no woman ought to run a yard, Nathaniel handed him the broken brake assembly and told him to repair it himself. Silas lasted 11 minutes before bringing it back to Clara without meeting her eyes. On the 7th day, the shed roof nearly killed Toby. He had climbed where Clara told him not to climb, trying to loosen an old peg from the inside beam. The cracked support shifted with a sound like a rifle shot. Clara looked up, saw the roofline dip, and ran. Toby down. The boy froze. Clara climbed the side ladder faster than any man expected a woman her size to move. Nathaniel shouted her name, but she was already on the crossbeam, her skirt torn at the hem, one hand gripping the brace, the other reaching for Toby's collar. The beam cracked again. She shoved Toby toward Nathaniel's waiting arms and threw her weight against the sagging support, holding it just long enough for Silas and 2 hands to jam the new brace underneath. When the pressure shifted off her shoulder, she slid down the ladder and sat hard in the dirt. For a moment, nobody moved. Then Toby burst into tears. "I told you not to climb there," Clara said, breathing hard. "I know," he sobbed. "You'll listen next time." "Yes, ma'am." Nathaniel knelt beside her. "Your shoulder?" "Still attached." "That wasn't what I asked." "It hurts like sin." "Then say that first." She tried to laugh and winced instead. He helped her stand. His hand was careful at her elbow, not because she was fragile, but because pain deserved respect. The men watched in silence. Something had shifted in them, not all the way. Men did not remake themselves in a single afternoon. But after that, Silas stopped calling her lady in that tone of his. The inspector arrived on a gray morning with a notebook, a black coat, and the pinched expression of a man accustomed to disappointment. His name was Mr. Ambrose Hale. Truitt arrived with him, smiling as though the outcome had already been written. Willow Creek came too. Not officially. People simply found reasons to pass near the bar R. Women stood by the fence with parasols. Men leaned on saddle horns. Boys climbed the cottonwood beyond the corral. Mr. Hale inspected the wagons first. Clara stood beside Nathaniel while Hale checked wheels, brakes, harness, boards, axles, and load balance. He asked questions. Nathaniel answered some. Clara answered more. After the 3rd answer, Hale stopped looking at Nathaniel and addressed her directly. "You reset these tires?" "Yes, sir." "And the brake assemblies?" 3 rebuilt, 2 adjusted, 1 replaced." "You keep records?" Clara handed him a ledger. Dates, repairs, materials, weight tests. Nathaniel looked at the ledger. He had not known she kept it. Hale read for a long time. Truitt's smile grew thinner. At the wagon shed, Hale examined the new brace, the roof pitch, the support posts, and the patched drainage trench. "Who designed this repair?" Clara lifted her chin. "I did." Truitt cleared his throat. "Mr. Hale, the concern brought before the board was not merely mechanical. There are questions of propriety. Public confidence can be damaged when a business employs persons who invite talk." Hale looked at him over the notebook. "What sort of persons?" Truitt spread his hands. "A young woman working among ranch hands, performing heavy labor, presenting herself in a manner that many families find unsuitable." The silence that followed was larger than the yard. Clara felt every eye land on her body, as they always had. Her cheeks warmed, but she did not look away. Nathaniel stepped forward. "No," Clara said. He stopped. She walked past him and faced the inspector, Truitt, and the gathered town. "My name is Clara Bell," she said. Her voice shook once, then steadied. "My father taught me iron and wood before I was tall enough to see across his bench. I can set a tire, true a wheel, mend a brake, brace a roof, read a load, and tell by sound when an axle is about to fail. I am not improper because I work. I am not shameful because I am large. I am not less of a woman because my hands know tools." A murmur moved through the fence line. Clara continued. "Mr. Truitt calls me unsuitable because he cannot call my work poor. If he could, he would have started there." Somebody laughed softly. Then someone else. Truitt's face darkened. "This is theatrics." Nathaniel's voice came low and clear beside her. "No. This is the first honest thing said all morning." He removed his hat and faced the crowd. "I hired Clara Bell because I needed help. I was wrong about that. I needed someone who could see what the rest of us had learned to ignore. That freight wagon rolled because of her. That shed stands because of her. Toby is alive because of her. If this valley calls that unsuitable, then this valley has grown too foolish to trust with its own wagons." The words did not shout. They did not need to. Ada stepped from the porch. "I'll ride any wagon she repairs." Toby wiped his face with his sleeve. "Me too." Silas shifted his hat in his hands. "She taught me more in a week than I learned pretending in 5 years. An older rancher at the fence raised his hand. "My spring wagon needs work. I don't care who gossips if it stops throwing me in ditches." Laughter came fuller now. Mr. Hale closed his notebook. "The board concerns itself with safety and contract fitness, not parlor discomfort. The Bar R equipment is in better condition than most yards I inspect. I'll recommend renewal." Truitt stepped toward him. "Mr. Hale," and Hale added, "I will note that the complaint appears commercially motivated." Truitt stopped. The crowd began to break apart, but not in the old way. Some people looked at Clara and nodded. Some looked ashamed. Mrs. Truitt turned away quickly. The old rancher came to ask about his wagon. Clara answered him as if her heart were not pounding hard enough to break ribs. That night, no one ate in silence. Ada made peach cobbler from jars she had been saving for a worthy occasion. Toby retold the inspection 3 times, each version making Clara taller and Truitt smaller. Silas apologized after supper, badly but sincerely, which was more than Clara had expected from him. Later, Clara found Nathaniel in the wagon shed, standing beside the freight wagon. "You should be inside," she said. "So should you." "I wanted quiet." "So did I." She touched the wheel rim, feeling the smooth iron under her palm. "You shouldn't have said all that in front of everyone." "Yes, I should have. It will make talk." "Good. Maybe they need better material." She smiled faintly. Then it faded. "A telegram came for me this afternoon." He looked at her. "From St. Louis. My aunt is ill. Her lawyer says she left me the house." Nathaniel did not speak. "And my father's old shop building. She bought it from the creditor 2 years ago, never told me." The forge ticked softly as it cooled. "That's good," he said. "It is. You'll go see it?" "I don't know." But she did know, and he knew she did not know, and both things stood between them. The next morning, Clara found a train schedule on the kitchen table. Nathaniel had ridden into town before dawn to get it. He had marked the eastbound departures in pencil. She held it for a long time before going to the yard. He was mending a harness strap when she approached. "You want me to leave?" His hand stopped. "No. You got me the schedule. You deserve to know your choices." She hated how much that answer hurt. "My aunt's house has glass windows without cracks," she said. "The shop has a brick forge. The lawyer says there is money enough to reopen it." "That sounds like something your father would have wanted for you." "Yes. Then you should see it." She looked at him. "And what would you want?" Nathaniel set down the strap. He stood, slow and careful, as though any sudden movement might break what had finally become visible. "I want you at that bench tomorrow morning, telling Silas he's holding a file wrong. I want you drinking Ada's coffee and arguing with me about wagon loads. I want you here when the first snow comes, because you'll know which roof beam still worries you, and you'll be right about it. I want a great many things I have no right to ask." Clara's throat tightened. He reached into his vest pocket and took out a small brass key. "This is for the wagon shed," he said. "I had a lock put on the tool room, not to keep you in, not to keep anyone out unless they deserve it. I had it made because the tools in there are yours to command if you stay. If you go, the key goes with you anyway. You earned that much." She stared at the key in his palm. "I don't need charity." "I know. I don't need rescuing." "I know that too." "What is it then?" His face was rough with feeling he did not know how to polish. "A place," he said, "if you want one." The wind moved through the shed. Outside, Toby called to a horse. Ada sang badly in the kitchen. Somewhere beyond the yard, the town that had laughed at Clara Bell continued existing, though it no longer felt large enough to rule her. She took the key. Nathaniel's breath changed, just barely. "I will go to St. Louis," she said. He nodded once, though it cost him. "I will sell the house," she continued, "and if the shop is worth saving, I'll have the tools shipped here." He looked up. "There are girls in this territory," Clara said, her voice softening, "who are being told they take up too much room. Maybe they should have a place to learn what their hands can do." For a moment, Nathaniel could not answer. Then he said, "The wagon shed will need expanding." "Yes," Clara said, "badly. Whoever braced that south wall rushed the work. That was me." "I know." This time, they both laughed. By spring, the Bar R wagon yard had a new sign over the shed doors: Bell and Reed Repair, Freight, and Forge. Calvin Truett's freight contract was gone by then, lost not in a single dramatic blow, but through the slow ruin that comes when a man mistakes reputation for competence. Mrs. Truett stopped speaking about propriety after her carriage broke an axle and Clara repaired it without mentioning a word. Silas became nearly useful. Toby became entirely devoted. Ada declared the new forge too loud, and then spent most afternoons sitting near it with her mending because she liked keeping an eye on progress. Clara traveled to St. Louis once. She walked through her aunt's narrow house, opened the shutters, and felt no grief when the rooms failed to claim her. In the old shop, she found her father's workbench under a canvas tarp. She ran her hands across the scarred top and cried there, privately, not because she was broken, but because something had been returned. She shipped the bench west. When it arrived, Nathaniel placed it in the brightest corner of the expanded shed. He did not ask if he had chosen right. Clara's face told him. They married in June, under cottonwoods behind the ranch house, with Ada crying openly and denying it fiercely, Toby dropping one ring and finding it in his boot, and half of Willow Creek pretending they had always known. Clara Bell was remarkable. The old rancher with the spring wagon gave them a pair of matched work lamps. Silas gave them a set of horseshoes he had made himself, only two of which were crooked. Mr. Hale sent a note of congratulations from Cheyenne. Calvin Truett did not attend, which improved the occasion. Years later, travelers passing through Willow Creek would hear the ring of Clara's hammer before they saw the yard. They would see girls at the forge beside her, sleeves rolled, faces bright with heat and concentration. They would see Nathaniel Reed crossing the yard with 2 cups of coffee, setting one near Clara's hand without interrupting her work. They would see a woman broad and strong, and no longer trying to make herself smaller for anyone. And if they looked closely at the first freight wagon she had repaired, still kept under cover, though long retired, they would see a small brass plate fixed above the wheel. It read, "Built to carry weight." Clara had chosen the words herself. Sometimes the place meant for us is not the one that first welcomes us, but the one where our patience, work, and kindness slowly make room. Clara's story reminds us to honor the gifts we carry, even when others misunderstand them. A steady hand, a grateful heart, and one person's faith in us can turn hardship into home. Please note, this story was created and fictionalized by AI for your entertainment, while also sharing a positive life lesson.